Mark the Movie Man here, and we're at the Madison Horror Film Festival, and I'm here with one of the stars, if you will, of the Curd-Off, as well as one of our special guests, Claire Fluff Llewellyn. Thank you for taking your time. Now, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here today, what film you're bringing.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mark, and hello. Okay, I'm here today to screen Conscience, which we'll be screening later, my first movie that I wrote, directed, and star in. It's fun. You can see. I got it.
Hey,
So we'll be screaming that.
Could be
Screaming. Yeah, screening that and doing a Q&A later. It was supposed to be the effects of the cheese. That's what's
That threw you off.
Cheese brain now, right? Yeah.
Now, what is Conscience about?
Good question. Without going in
too much detail.
Yeah, because it's a lot of twists and turns in it. Kind of like a Hitchcockian style. It's a psychological thriller more than a horror, so there's not a lot of gore effects in it. Help me out here, Chris.
No, that's good.
I'm not one for the I'm not the blood and boobs brigade. I'm more not intellectual, but cerebral. That's the word. That's the word. Right.
That's an excellent word. No, actually, you bring up a good point. There's things out there like the Viscera Film Festival and women like yourself that are doing more behind the camera, showing they can do just as much, if not better, behind the camera as they do in front of the camera. Are you seeing that? Have you met a lot of other female filmmakers that do a lot of behind the camera stuff?
Yeah, there are a lot of up and coming women taking on every role in the industry now, and that's really good to see. Myself, I'm not really technical. I rely on good DPs. Rob Sepulveda was a DP and on that, and Chris Kaler, who was my partner in crime these days, and he does a lot of my camera work on my current project. He edited Conscience, and he plays the bouncer, which is how we met actually, which is a goofy story. But my current project is Psycho Magnet, a love story, which will be my first feature. Me and Chris are working on that. Grammar Nazi. Chris and I. And that's going to take some time. We're hoping for a release for Sweetest Day 2013, so October next year. And that's a spoof on the slasher genre. We'll be screening the trailer to that just before Conscience tonight.
Great. Well, I look forward to seeing that as well. And now, have you worked in film before you did your first short here? Were you in a number of other projects, or is this kind of your first altogether in front and behind the camera?
I've done a few indie projects locally for the past around 4 years or so, I guess. A few projects that never made it out there, got finished, but then stuff happened and they never got released, which is kind of a shame. But maybe as you get older and progress and hopefully improve with your work, you look back on there and go, yeah, it doesn't matter if nobody sees those, you know. So yeah, you'll catch me doing bit parts in other local filmmakers' projects. Got a film coming out by Great Lakes Artist Group coming out later this year called Dracula's Orgy of the Damned, where I kind of play Dracula's nemesis. So I've been a vampire before, so this is like the opposite, and I'm the vampire killer. So that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of freezing cold shoots in the snow, but we got some really nice footage and some really nice still photography from Curtis Clegg on that. The ones you'll see me on Facebook with the big guns, yeah, that's from that movie. So.
Great. And now you're originally from England. Are you familiar at all with the England independent film scene? Is there one in England at all? And have you worked in there or know anyone from there?
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, there is a big up-and-coming scene in England, but I'm not familiar with that because actually I've been here 8 years, and when I moved over here, originally many years prior to that, I was into music. I was a singer-songwriter, so I moved over here trying to follow through with a music career. That didn't quite take off, and I was always had a thing for acting and being creative. I've always written creatively, many different formats, so it's just something that I naturally found myself doing. As you meet people, you network, it's like, okay, I'll try this, and it stuck, and it's like, yeah, I really enjoy this. This is something I can get into, doing good work. Talking of other written projects, I'm writing a gothic poetry book under my character, the Victorian Vampire. So that's going to be a culmination of prose and poetry, and maybe some visual works in there too.
Woman of many talents. And just one final question: do you have what advice would you give out there to any, say, female horror fans out there who want to get into, say, making films, not just acting in front of, but behind the camera?
Well, get a good story. Network. That's the biggest thing you can say. Is there are so many indie filmmakers. Doesn't matter where you live, you'll find people in your town. Go to Craigslist. A lot of people on Craigslist, but it's a good place to start. A lot of people on Craigslist are looking for, extras, people working on their first films and very low budget independent movies who want help. So go and get yourself involved in somebody else's project and learn that way. Again, network, build your own little team around you. Equipment's pretty accessible these days, so just don't give up, and if you've got a passion, it'll drive you forward, and you'll get there.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time. You bet.